want to do a little intro of fencing first. This is a fencing mask. It's very durable, very protective. And this is a fencing sword. And I use none of these to make change in just winning bouts. I use steel and sword to make change in about 1,000 youths' lives in the Southeast Michigan area a year. My name is Bobby Smith. I'm the CEO and founder of Garde Detroit. Garde being a French term like Detroit. And Garde means to prepare thyself. So over the last 3 years, myself and a courageous team of people, one here, Quentin Love, we've been helping to grow a culture in this city to present kids with a way out, a way that they never knew existed. So, really quickly, close your eyes. I want you to envision a still body of water in front of you, endless. You can't see past the horizon. I want you to look down, and I want you to be standing on a beach, and I want you to see a perfectly rounded stone sitting right by your foot. You reach down and you grab this stone, has been washed over by the waves and perfectly rounded. You grab it, you put it in your hand, you feel the weight, and then you look out across the still body of water, and you let it rip. You see ripples after ripples being created upon every impact until the stone slowly seeps to the bottom and it becomes a part of this body of water, helping it to rise just a little bit higher. Now open your eyes. And I want you to look at the people next to you, because those are stones. You all have a responsibility to be stones on the water, and by water I mean the youth in the city of Detroit, because each and every one of you can make your own individual impact in their lives. These ripples are what cause a kid to decide to go for the higher road or go for something that he sees in his environment. Over the last 3 years, I went to Wayne State University on a full-ride fencing scholarship. Loved my university, graduated, and I came to this university from New York, where I was fortunate enough to be taught the sport of fencing by the Olympic team. Scholarship opportunity, they take a couple inner-city kids in a year. If it weren't for that experience, I probably would have ended up like my 4th grade teacher in East Orange, New Jersey, Miss Rice. I still remember her name. I remember what she said to me. I refused to sit down in class because I hated what she was teaching and she had no respect for kids. So I stood up and I just said, I'm out of here. Before I left, she had the audacity to say, you know what? You're either going to be a drug dealer or a dropout. I think I was like 4th grade, 5th grade. So, year 1 of our company, we grossed 25,000. Year 2, we've grossed about 25, 30,000. Year 3, we should break about 300,000 this year. We're the largest trainer of fencing to youth in America, in Detroit. Hopefully, if we get the manufacturing that we want, we'll be the first U.S. producers of fencing equipment in the world, because the United States is accountable for about 20% of this market. But guess what? We don't make any of it. So I figure if Detroit can make big metal, we can make small metal. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. Over the last 3 years, I've been fortunate enough and blessed by the opportunity to walk into schools across this state and to see what education is really like. And teachers are doing a ridiculously good job with zero tolerance and purse strings. When you hear things about the school system, you have to really take it in a totality type of effect. There's lots of things going on. There are people who went to school and graduated and think they know how to run one in Congress and in D.C., and then you have people who think they know a little bit better, so they change laws and try to get around and do things in the state. Teachers are on the ground floor, and if you know a teacher, if you made it in your life, and you remember a teacher that said something inspirational to you, you should definitely go back and thank them. But I have a couple thoughts that I want to share with you today. Thought 1. I believe that it's no longer enough for our K through 12 educational system to just academically prepare children for the next level of their academic life, meaning college. How do you look at a 17-year-old in an inner city who probably has a felony or probably has some type of arrest record in a real situation and tell them that they have the opportunity to serve on a corporate board? The likelihood of an African American graduating from college is less than an actual inner city child making it to corporate America in 21st century settings. Everything is set against kids from the moment they hit the streets. They're not given enough opportunities to have the vision to see what success can look like. I myself grew up and was born in St. Andrews, Jamaica. I'm a Jamaican citizen. Over the years, I've learned to turn it on and turn it off. And I'm not talking about like Montego Bay or Ocho Rios or anything like that. I'm talking about like real third world poverty, the places where you're not allowed to walk without armed guards. So when my perspective on poverty is something totally different, it's no longer enough to just fill kids up with hoop dreams and basketball dreams and to tell them that if you study hard, work hard, and you can go to college. I went to college on a full ride and still couldn't afford to buy food. And in October this year, it's going to get immensely worse when college students across the state lose their bridge card privileges in Michigan. Because, okay, I can afford books and I can afford the tuition, but how am I paying for living expenses? How am I paying for food? These are real situations that I don't know if state government has actually figured out yet, which is going to get real worse before it gets better if we keep doing things like that to our kids that can actually get into college. K through 12 education needs to turn into a breeding ground of success. We need to invest more money in the after-school programming. By the time a child leaves school, you have empty hands being able to do whatever they want in their communities, and we're not the ones that they see when they leave the school doors. It's hard for me to actually tell a child that they should stay after school because they have real life responsibilities and they have real life concerns. These are young adults. They have to go home and watch their baby sister, and they know that if they take the choice to stay in my after school program, where we don't just teach fencing, by the way, we catch the attention kind of how I've done with you when you're watching The Sword, aren't you? And then we slip in some financial literacy, which we've gotten great help from Wayne State Blackstone program. We slip in a little bit of nutrition with our national partner, St. John's Hospital Ascension Health. We slip in a little bit of mentoring. We give kids whatever they need to be exposed to, whether it's classical music, I don't care. Well, Mr. Smith, why are we learning about financial literacy and you're teaching us about fencing? Because it's the third most expensive sport in America. So I walked into school and I was real geeked, and I said, okay, I have the answer. I know exactly how to give kids the opportunity to be successful in life because I started off in a one-bedroom apartment with 3 brothers on a bed and my mom on a couch in the living room, going from house to house. I thought we just moved a lot when I was younger. I didn't realize that eviction notices were a bad thing. I got so used to seeing them, I thought they were just like the landlord telling us hello. What I thought I knew is that I could walk into a school because I know this stuff. I'm an entrepreneur. And everyone's calling me a social entrepreneur. I've been speaking about this all over the country. So I walk into classrooms real proud, like, listen. And then kids went, fall back. I know what I want in my life. We have a problem. We need to stop thinking about our educations as kids as like they're these bottles and we have to just pour endless amounts of knowledge into them. You'd be surprised what these youngsters already ask and already know about. This is what I found out. We have to start looking at our students and our kids, no matter what economic situation they derive from, as candles waiting to be lit. They already have the potential to be something great inside of them. I have 3 beliefs in life. I believe, 1, that every individual has the choice to either be successful and to be brave or to be average and never reach full potential. And every one of us makes that choice every day. And I'm not saying that, oh, well, if you don't seek it out on your own and be an entrepreneur, that you're just average. No. I know some great people that work 9 to 5s that give up their time to come back into the city after 5 and work with some of my kids. And that's what they give their life to. That's what their give back is. Hey, Bobby, can I come teach a class on finance? Sure. Of course you can. Because if we aren't teaching our kids how to save, how are they going to invest in their communities? This is my opinion on what's missing in education across America, not just urban America. Here's my rationale. I'll start with the most obscure one, empathy. The world is getting smaller, right? Business guys in the room, right? The world is getting dramatically smaller, and if you walk up to a Japanese businessman and try to walk over and shake his hand, he's going to kind of look at you a little funny depending about what company he's from and how traditional he is, right? We had to learn a little bit of culture, right? We had to learn to integrate ourselves. When we speak to Indian businessmen and Chinese businessmen, it's a good thing to know a little bit of ni hao, right? A little Mandarin, a little Cantonese. If we aren't educating our civilization to be more socially responsible, we're going to reach a catastrophic point where no other country in the world wants to deal with an American, because we're already looked at as someone as lower cultured and just we don't care. We need to start teaching our kids to be more socially responsible and have empathy for those next to them, because that will drop the murder rate faster than you building more jails to incarcerate young black men. Alternative fitness. I swear to you, kids can do more than basketball and football. I have 1,000 kids a year as proof. And the actual numbers on kids getting involved in alternative sports is ridiculous all over the country. In New York, you have an all-girls row team. You have, in Detroit, you have kids fencing and attending junior Olympic championships. Alternative physical education is not just a way to keep them engaged and out of the devil's hands. We're morbidly obese as a people. I don't know if you guys have been told that. The Japanese make special-made cars that are wider in their seats when they ship to America. I mean, the cars are bigger for Americans because they just gauge that, you know, we need a little bit more. The obesity rate in Wayne County is about 53 to 60%. Child obesity has reached what they call an obesogenic state in America. We're that fat that they made a new term. Last point, financial literacy. When's the last time you looked at a congressman or a senator's financial capabilities or background as the reason you voted for him? Is it not more the person, the smile, the charm, the candor, the ability to motivate a crowd? We, as a large populace, especially in Detroit, vote on name recognition and vote on who you know. No one's asking anyone to see, well, what's your financial IQ score? Wouldn't it make sense before we get into trillions of dollars of debt to start educating kids on how to pay taxes, since we all have to do it at 18 anyway? When's the last time you saw a K through 12? Go ahead, you can clap. I'm mad that I had to get to 24 to figure out how to grow and start a business, and Google has been a great help. It's appalling to me that I was never told that I could go out and create my own way in life, that I didn't have to work for someone as a means of supporting myself, and if I had the cojones enough that I could step out on my own and create a business that's going to be $1 million business in 6 years. That is the power of empowering children with knowledge and experiences and ripples. If they're never told, how can they be? If you never show them potential, how can they seek to be something they don't know about? Thought 2, teaching school-age children to build social enterprises will not only be great for them as children if they have backgrounds that don't blend well with corporate America or other lifestyles that we the industrial age, teaching, as you heard from the gentleman, and I just need one more minute. Teaching, as you heard from the gentleman from Techtown, they engaged over 200,000 people. They're all adults. What would have happened if we would have trained them to be entrepreneurs in middle school? I wonder if Detroit would have a grocery store. I wonder if we'd have to beg Myers to come down or Whole Foods for 5 years to open up on John R. and Mack. I wonder if some of our community members couldn't have just created a grocery store, since we have Eastern Market, one of the best, public grocery and fresh food produce place in the country. Excuse me. I'm going to fly through this. Reasons to teach social entrepreneurism in schools. Kids learn planning, social responsibility, how to research. They don't ask me questions, because when they ask us questions, Quentin, what do we say? Go look at Google. Why are you asking me? Google knows everything. But it's funny. They do. They even know my address and where I am. They can get a picture from satellite. I mean, it's like the CIA, like in your back pocket. But teaching kids these basic principles of self-sufficiency and research is how we create change in low-wealth communities, because they want to stay in their communities and build businesses and hire their friends and hire their community members. If you get 500 kids, even 10% of them, that's the number there, 10% of them go off and say, I want to be an entrepreneur because I was exposed to it during a class with Mr. Smith. Maybe 5 of them make it. 98% of the businesses in Michigan are small businesses under 500 employees. If 5 kids per school, 144 schools left in Detroit, how many more jobs will we create? What kind of tax incentives does that mean for us? Last slide. This is Young Hove. Raise your hand if you've ever heard of Jay-Z. Oh, you'd be surprised. If you don't know, Jay-Z was on the cover of Forbes with Warren Buffett. He was standing in front of Warren Buffett. For my PR and marketing people, we know that placement is everything. But Jay-Z made a story. He said the moment that he realized that he wanted success more than he wanted breathing is when his teacher took him on a field trip and he just stood in front of her refrigerator pressing the automatic ice button. And he realized that there were other things in the world that he had never been exposed to. You either let a kid fill his book bags with hope, or you let dealers on the street fill it with blocks. Because I'll give you a quick synopsis of the black problem right now, the problem in Black American and urban communities. We're playing a game of chess with missing pieces. We have tons of strong queens and no kings. We have no Martin Luther Kings being raised. We have no Jesse Jacksons coming back, the good times. We need to find other role models to come into these children's lives and to give them direction. And if we don't, we're headed to another Detroit in every city around America, because we're not empowering our future leaders. Thank you.